evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, February 14th, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Blue Marine Foundation project supported by the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Environment Fund in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries today launched a baseline assessment study of the local fisheries sector. Executive Director of SVG Environment Fund, Louise Mitchell, said given the importance of the fisheries industry in sustaining lives and livelihoods and the reports over the years that changes are happening below the ocean, they saw the need to commission the study. Mitchell said on a visit to SVG, the chair of the Environment Fund spoke to officials in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, including Minister Sabota Caesar, on ways in which they can help with the recovery efforts from the volcano, which led to the Marine Baseline Assessment Study.
We spoke of was the possibility of doing a Marine Baseline Assessment Study for the fisheries sector. The response of Minister Caesar to Henry Channon was, how soon can you get fins in the water? It was not the response we expected. We expected we would have had to convince him as to why he really needs this information, how useful it would be to him. So he welcomed the project with open arms. We were able to find a partner to work with to actually implement this project in the form of Blue Marine Foundation. And we're very pleased that today, just 6 months after that meeting, that Blue Marine Foundation is actually here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to begin the baseline assessment study of our fisheries.
Senior Project Manager Dr. Judith Prang outlined their plans in executing the baseline assessment study.
One of the most important things that we'll be doing is engaging with stakeholders and the local community. So in particular with the Fisheries Department, as I've mentioned, they've got a huge amount of knowledge and experience that is really important, but also with the local fishing community and anyone really involved within the fishing industry, for them to tell us where they see the opportunities, where they see the challenges. A lot of fishers are always a great source of information because they remember what it was like 10 and 20 years ago, and even that anecdotal evidence provides great insight into the changes in your fishery and where things are progressing or could progress in the future. So what are we going to be doing? So we're going to be doing some dive surveys around Union Island, and that's starting from tomorrow. And this is going to be some conch surveys to look at the abundance and the numbers and the size distributions of the conch around the island. Now it's great because there was actually a survey in 2013 which really looked at the conch populations then. So we're going to have that comparison of data so we can see, have the numbers increased, have they decreased? Like Louise mentioned, the divers are reporting, have they moved into deeper waters? Are we finding more adults or more juveniles? And this is all really important information that feeds into your assessment of the fishery and of the stock.
Senior Fisheries Officer Chris Isaac said the opportunity provided by the Blue Marine Foundation and the SVG Environment Fund is a chance to know more about the general population of marine resources, their health and biodiversities.
With this research, the Fisheries Division, and by extent the Ministry of Agriculture, will be provided with data that our management plans can use to ensure the conch and lobster fisheries operate at a sustainable level, allowing stocks to regenerate, thus protecting local livelihoods not only for now, but for future generations. The division is thrilled to be part of this initiative and look forward to using the information gained to better manage our resources. So on behalf of Fisheries, I'd like to thank Dr. Brown and our team, Louise and Jade, for giving us the opportunity to look at what is here in our environment and build for a future.
Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, is calling on government to reduce the VAT by half, which he said will help to ease the burden being faced by Vincentians in these difficult times. At the NDP's 42nd annual convention held virtually on Sunday, Dr. Friday, who has been calling for a reduction of VAT by at least 3%, said given the current economic climate, it should be axed by half.
Given the pressure that people are feeling, I think the government has to be bold. They have to do more than what we advocated before. They have to consider cutting the VAT by more than the 3%. They need to consider reducing it by at least half so that people can get some relief now. And then go forward and see what we do when the economy starts to grow under an NDP government. Given the pressure that people are feeling,
the NDP leader said Budget 2022 does not ease any tax burdens, hence serious consideration should be given to reduce VAT.
it has gotten worse. The government says that it did not increase taxes in the last budget. I had told them that they should not, because that would just be rubbing salt in the wound that the people are feeling. But they did not provide any tax relief, as was done, for example, in Grenada. So all they tell you, they pat themselves on the back and they say, well, I'm not taking any money out of your pocket this year. So consider yourself lucky. But no tax relief was given to the people. Meanwhile, employers say they cannot increase wages. Meanwhile, employers say they cannot increase wages. So people are squeezed by stagnant wages on one side and rising prices on the other.
Dr. Friday said gas prices are also a burden on the people, which has to be addressed.
Relief must also come against the rising gas prices. Telling people that the frequent increases in gas prices every year, over the year, is a result of world conditions. There's no relief to fisher folk whose cost has risen dramatically, but they can't sell their fish for any more money because people have no money to pay. It is no comfort to the taxi and bus operator who must work within fixed prices or price schedules, fare schedules, notwithstanding the rising fuel costs. So some relief must be provided to them to buffer the effects of rising gas prices.
Dr. Friday welcomed the party's new executive and said that he looks forward to continued work for the benefit of all Vincentians. And newly elected Vice President of the NDP, Nigel Stevenson, is looking to engage and involve more Vincentians in the diaspora to invest in their home country. Addressing the party's 42nd convention on Sunday, Stevenson said he is optimistic that once a safe investment opportunity is created, they will come and be part of the nation-building process.
As a Vice President of the New Democratic Party, one of the mandates that I have is to foster a better relationship with the Vincentian diaspora and the New Democratic Party. There are so many wonderful people who are listening to us via Facebook and all the other social media platforms who love St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who call St. Vincent and the Grenadines their home, who have the financial capacity to make a difference here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but just want the opportunity to make an investment into our country. Because they are smart, but they do know that once they make that investment, they want to ensure that their investment is safe. Under the Unity Labour Party, your investment is not safe. But we are saying to you that we will create the environment so that all the people who have the know-how and those persons who want to invest here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we will make the path clear for you to come here.
Stevenson thanked persons from South Leeward for supporting him and the NDP.
I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for making us the Rock of Gibraltar. I just troubling the president. He's a real rock. But you know, Sir James, the late, said to me one day in a meeting in Kittels, a political meeting that we were having there. He stood me up, he stood up Patel, and it was Brother Norrell Hall, who I see here this afternoon. And he said, I am appointing you the guardian of the Leeward. And I took that responsibility seriously. If you want to infiltrate the Leeward, then obviously you know what happened. They had to do it by sea.
The opposition MP said that lack of jobs continue to be a problem in SVG and steps must be taken to urgently address the matter.
When you look at what is going on around us, under the people who are parading as government, you notice that they are a colossal failure. Failure to provide jobs for young people. Failure to provide jobs for work for single parents, single women especially here in this country. Too often we have seen a situation where people are crying out. People are wondering, where am I going to get the next meal to feed my children? Where am I going to get the next dollars and cents to pay my bills? The status quo must not be allowed to remain.
In some COVID-19 related news now, we hear that SVG's death toll from COVID-19 is now at 103. The latest victim is a 92-year-old male with underlying conditions who tested positive for COVID-19 on February 4th, 2022 and was admitted to the isolation ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. He died on Sunday, February 13, 2022 of COVID-19 pneumonia. He was unvaccinated. Meanwhile, active COVID-19 cases are down to 101 with 13 recoveries. The latest COVID-19 update provided by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment indicates on Sunday, February 13, 2022, 2 new PCR and 1 new rapid antigen cases were recorded for the reporting period. 7 persons are hospitalized, 1 fully vaccinated and the other 6 unvaccinated. To date, 66,640 COVID-19 vaccines have been administered here in SVG. For most Vincentians, 2021 was a very challenging year with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to an increase in unemployment, and the impact of the eruptions of La Soufrière volcano, which displaced thousands of Vincentians. And local councillor Kesley Cambridge said a change of mindset is the key in navigating from these past challenges to ensure a successful 2022 and beyond. Cambridge was a panelist on SVG-TV's Viewpoint program last evening discussing the topic, how do we go about confronting past challenges and resetting for this new year. Cambridge said moving forward, persons should be more prepared and put things in place for wet days.
Change our mindset, adapt to the changing environment, adapt to the new normal. I think we have to try to start being a bit more proactive. We are very reactive when it comes to a lot of different things, and that's why in some instances persons were caught off guard. Every year NEMO comes around and NEMO tells us hurricane season coming up in June, put your house in order, yada yada yada, prepare. We have to try to start adapting to that. Every year comes along, we have to start putting plans and putting things in place to avoid any sort of, mishap that can affect us. We also have to be able to start being our brother's keeper, because although I made that point earlier, what I would have found in working in the shelters, there were some instances where persons were being abandoned. The elderly, children weren't being supervised. So going forward, we have to be able to adjust, be our brother's keeper, and actually mean it.
Social worker Roselle Salomon said that accountability is another way persons can move forward to a successful future. She said persons should take full responsibility for their mistakes and learn from them.
As a nation, we have to learn to be accountable. As Kesley mentioned, not being prepared, etc. Were we accountable? Were we saying, yes, I did not prepare, than to blame somebody else? We have to learn to be honest. We have to learn to be accountable for our actions. The process is not just us alone, individualized, or a ministry or a particular entity. It's all of us. All are we in this together? Are we really working together as a country? Are we really putting our best feet forward? When we're in a group, are we holding back, or are we really giving the best of our talent and our understanding to a situation? And again, as I said, it's a collaborative process. Are we really giving our young people, us a chance to develop and showcase our talents? Are we really creating those opportunities so people can know what their skill be? You won't know what your skill is if you don't have the opportunity to really exercise it.
Entrepreneur Edson Reese used the opportunity to encourage small business owners who were impacted by the pandemic and the eruptions of La Soufrière volcano not to give up.
Small business owners, if you're passionate about what you do, don't give up. You know, sometimes we like to wait and say we don't get that help, or if we get that help, you have to start. Sometimes that's when you start, the help comes. No one is just going to give you some money or some resources to do something just because you have this grand idea. You have to show them that you're walking towards it. You can start with nothing. Many have done it, you know. You have to get up and get. Some callers mentioned the agriculture. We need to go back to the land, strong. We need to teach our children that farming is not a look upon, you know, you don't look down on farming. You know, I have a friend who in school, when the teacher asks, what you want to be? Everybody, lawyer, doctor. A friend said, farmer, and everybody laughed. You know, and everybody laughed. But it's, and the fishermen, we always forget the fisher folk. You know, they run a major part of the economy.
Carlton Richardson of Fair Hall, a male attendant at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, is currently in police custody, assisting with an investigation that was launched into reports of Vincentian women who are being recruited as babysitters and housekeepers, then are allegedly subjected to exploitation and possible human trafficking. Richardson was detained by police in the Northwestern District after a female resident reported to the police that on February 12, 2022, a male approached her and told her that he was seeking to recruit young ladies to work as babysitters and housekeepers for a white woman in the Grenadines. The police responded to the report and Richardson was subsequently detained for questioning. The Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit advises the general public to be aware of persons offering lucrative jobs locally and overseas and warns that before accepting any job offers, ensure that it is genuine. The unit said there are some steps persons or citizens can take to verify that the job is authentic and that the potential employers or employers are not scammers, human traffickers, or part of a criminal network. 1. Prior to leaving your place of abode, contact the local police and/or the Department of Labor for assistance and guidance. 2. Seek assistance from bona fide family members and friends who may be residing at the place or country that you are being offered a job. Do not go it alone. 3. Carefully verify the information about the company or person making the offer. If it involves traveling overseas, know your rights as a migrant in that country. 4. Contact any Vincentian embassy or consulate for assistance prior to traveling to the country where you are being offered a job. 5. Do not sign any document or contract you do not understand, especially if it is in a foreign language. And 6. Travel legally. Do not travel on false a passport, ID, visa, or work permit. You will be in a vulnerable situation that traffickers can exploit. And 7. Avoid debts. Traffickers will offer to pay all of your expenses for travel, hotel, food, etc. This is a trick to control and put you in debt bondage. The police say anyone with information that can assist with this investigation are asked to contact the Deputy Commissioner of Police at telephone number 1784-451-2467. The officer in charge of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit at telephone numbers 1784-457-1211, 1784-485-6697, or 1784-456-1750, or send an email to the SVG Anti-Trafficking Unit at gmail.com, or any police officer you are comfortable with. The police say all information received will be treated confidentially. SVG recorded its 5th homicide for the year as another life was taken in the wee hours of the morning today, Valentine's Day. Reports are that about 1:30 a.m., Diamond resident Eula Cordis, 55, and Jenny King, 47, was shot through a window while sleeping. Cordis succumbed to her injuries while King is currently warded at the Milton Cato Memorial General Hospital. She was reportedly shot in her arm and back. The shooting incident is under police investigation. And the family of Cameron Moore, the sole survivor of a wall which collapsed at the St. Vincent Distillers Limited in Georgetown last Monday, February 7, 2022, killing 2 others, is seeking justice. In an interview with SVGTV News, Moore's aunt, Onika Moore, gave graphic details on the extent of her nephew's injuries.
Currently, he still need to get the steel in his hips, even though they did a little surgery on the top part, but they have to still put steel in his hips. Then they open the knee, put steel. The legs still have to be fixed. His dad
The concerned aunt said that the family's main worry now is whether or not Cameron will be able to walk again due to the extent of his injuries.
He's young, vibrant. He loves to dance. He loves swimming. And I'm just praying that my nephew will be able to walk again. I think that's the biggest fear for the family right now. We're praying that everything goes well. And for my sister,
the woman said her sister Cameron's mother's life was turned upside down as a result of the incident, and they are yet to receive the support that they should be getting from the team he worked with.
He's on pause right now, and the worst part of it is that the supervisor came to the hospital a few times, and the owner for the place, they didn't do anything, and all we need is just justice. Like when kids it's really, 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 really heartbreaking to see that the people responsible for the site did not even, like call or even go to the hospital or even go on the news and, and show a little remorse.
In other news, local car dealers are being cautioned to desist from abusing their dealers' registration plates. Second in charge of the Traffic Department of the RSVG Police Force, Assistant Superintendent Panel Brown, told SVGTV News that a dealer's registration plate should not be loaned to other motorists, and persons who are caught committing this offense will be dealt with according to law.
We are seeing that persons are registering their vehicles and they are still putting a D number plate on their vehicles. It is against the law. The D number plate is to be used by the dealer, the person who the plate is registered to, and they will also pay a fee. So if James is a dealer for motor vehicles, he's bringing in motor vehicles, and John wants to bring in a vehicle for himself, James cannot lend him the dealer's registration plate because the vehicle is not for the dealer. Before the vehicle leaves the port, the vehicle must be registered and the registration plate placed on the motor vehicle. It must be insured before it leaves the port. Permission will be granted to the owner of the motor vehicle when he produces his insurance certificate to the police to take to the police garage to have the vehicle inspected. So no vehicle that is brought in by any private individual should leave the port without it being registered and insured. Hence, we are in the process of clamping down on that.
Speaking on other offences that the Traffic Department plans to clamp down on this year, ASP Brown also appealed to motorists not to alter their vehicles.
Seeing that persons are altering their motor vehicles. The vehicles are being built with their front bumper, their rear bumper, the grille, the fender for a particular reason. And we are seeing persons now are in the habit of taking off parts from their motor vehicle and driving up through the street of St. Vincent and Grenadines, and they think that is the norm. It is not the norm. You can be prosecuted, and you will be prosecuted for that.
The traffic cop further noted that some motorists have been committing a fraudulent act by using different number plates than what the vehicles were registered with, and this is a serious offense with serious consequences.
We have persons putting on false number plates on their vehicles, fraudulently using other plates. They will know that this plate ain't belong to this vehicle, but they will place the plate on the vehicles for some reason I don't know, sometimes to commit crimes. We are asking the owners of motor vehicle to desist from such a practice. It is dangerous, very dangerous. We are seeing persons having their registration plates placed on the dashboard. The law said the plates must be placed in a conspicuous position to the front of the vehicle in an upright position. If the registration plate is on your dashboard, it cannot and will not be in an upright position, and that is not conspicuous. It should be clear.